Morning. Okay. All right. Well, I want to welcome you all to Whole Person Weight Loss for the 21st Century. My name is Terry Page, and I'm a certified lifestyle coach at Medical Transformation Center. And I'm really excited that you've decided to join us today because I love sharing this information. We spent a lot of years kind of accumulating this type of information, working with real people, over 30 years in this work and really trying to distill and fine tune what could help people the most. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I want to just bear with me here. Let's see, maybe. Hold on just a second. All right. So today's just give this a little bit of an overview of our agenda. We'll talk about today's goals, what is MTC, kind of a picture, just a little bit of a synopsis of the health in the US, and then talk about weight as just a standalone or one size fits all solutions and kind of what's wrong with that. And then really go into more of a whole person solution. I've got 10 great takeaways for you today, and then some next steps that might be helpful for you. All right. So we've broken it down into three goals. So takeaways, three goals for this conversation. Number one, understand why many weight loss programs fail. Goal number two, explore the key qualities of a successful program. And then goal number three, those offer immediate takeaways and resources for more on how you can really start to change the trajectory of your journey. And this is fun. I mean, this picture kind of is a little crazy. It is what a claim to fame kind of. This was a magazine that I was in, and that was an amazing leather suit. And as you could tell, I like pink. So just a little bit, I do have a background in health and wellness. I've been a certified lifestyle coach through the American Academy of Anti-Aging, Regenerative and Functional Medicine for, gosh, I guess 11 years now, and a professional performance coach. Also, Paleo Mediterranean expert, I don't know, that's debatable, but I will tell you that I've spent many years just really through my own personal health journey that started several years ago in trying to help myself heal. And that's just kind of morphed into my love for cooking and creating. And I love to share that information with people. So that's really why I love doing these types of presentations. So, just a little bit of an overview of what Medical Transformation Center is. Really, Medical Transformation Center had its original roots in traditional primary care.
Mhm.
And, what we learned over those years in primary care, it kind of started a long, long time ago. So, gosh, 1992. So what is that? That's a long time ago. That is a long time ago, 35, I guess 36 years ago now almost, 34 years ago. But we really started that practice in an effort to help the whole families truly be well. And that worked really well for many years. But then as things changed in the healthcare industry, we realized that there were more tools out there that we really didn't have access to just by the way the model was built. So we went back to the drawing board, did some re-education, started to look at what other tools we could add to the toolbox, again, to really work with people at basically at that cellular level to see, we know how cells are supposed to function. We know that through environment and lifestyle choices and, just various things that our cells often malfunction and then they don't support optimal health. So where is that gap? How can we as at Medical Transformation Center, the team at MTC, work to correct that gap, to fill that gap back in so that the people that we work with really have their best health? And so we do that in a variety of ways. We do that by looking at genomics and epigenetic manifestations, big words, I know, but basically it's your genes aren't a foregone conclusion. It's really your lifestyle and other factors that influence that. We also use a lot of really targeted labs, and if anybody has ever worked with us here, we like labs, but we use them really just in a really targeted way so that we can pinpoint and curate the best personalized plan for each person that we work with. And then we add in a lot of regenerative approaches. So that may be things like small molecules, peptides, nutrients. We're always looking at metabolism and again, just really all in an effort to really to get the body to heal itself. So I'm going to ask you to just if you want to, and we'll go back to these as we go into the Q&A, but I want you to just think for a second for yourself, and you can share it in the chat now, or you can share it later when we do Q&A. But what is your biggest health concern right now? What is your biggest pain point? If I had a magic wand and I could change one thing for you, what would that be? So I want you to kind of I want you to imagine that for just a second. I'll give you just a minute to do that. And, write it down on a piece of paper, put it in the chat if you want to. But just connect with that for a second. What is your biggest pain point and health concern right now? Feel like we should play Jeopardy music. Okay. So just a little snapshot. I mean, and this is really clearly not an exhaustive list. Just health in the US, and we'll expound on this a little bit as we talk about it. But, 1 in 3 adults are overweight in America. And actually, that when you put in children, that number is even more astonishing. And that's really been a trend just in the last 30 years for our children. All right. 50 million Americans have one or more autoimmune diseases. So autoimmune diseases would be things like, Hashimoto's thyroiditis, autoimmune thyroid disease, or lupus, or MS, or rheumatoid arthritis, or psoriasis, psoriatic arthritis. I mean, you all have seen the advertisements on TV for all of the medications for these types of things. There's a reason for that. There are so many Americans that have those conditions now, and that's changed over time as well, especially since 1980. And we talk about that in actually one of the workshops that we do here in the office, but there's a reason for that since 1980. And then 50% of women and 41% of men with serious mental illness, obesity was prevalent, and it's much higher than those without. And there is a connection. So I know we've all probably heard of this before, that gut-brain connection, right? There's a gut-brain connection between, our GI tract health, our overall health status, and our mental health. So that's really important. That's a telling statistic. So what are barriers to whole person health? These are, and this list of 8 actually are kind of a synopsis of things that we have observed over our years, that our patients have told us, or that we've just observed from the people that we work with. So barriers to whole person health can be things like, difficulty losing weight, square one sometimes, autoimmune and inflammatory conditions, that's, a barrier, mental health, bloating, SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth is what SIBO stands for, gut issues, just in general, diverticulitis, leaky, spastic colon, irritable bowel, those types of gut issues are barriers to health. A lot of people struggle with that. Food sensitivities, allergies, the tried everything, seen everyone, there's a barrier to health. Irregular or non-beneficial lifestyle or exercise practices, so not being consistent. And then stress. Stress is a huge barrier to health, especially in the last 4 years. There's a new study out on the loneliness epidemic. That alone, just since COVID, that's really struck a chord with so many of us. And that's a barrier to health when we don't have social support, regular people that we can reach out to, or that we're just stuck behind a screen. Kind of ironic, we're behind a screen right now, but you know what I mean, just with our phones and social media and so forth. That has really created a loneliness epidemic, because while we appear to be more connected than ever, again, because of social media and FaceTime and that type of thing, we actually really aren't. So going back to what you thought about earlier in terms of your pain point, what is, if I had that magic wand, right, and I could fix anything and poof, you were done. Now what I want you to do is just kind of project forward, and I want you to think about imagining if that were fixed, if you had created sustainable health for yourself. All right, what would that look like? Not just like, what is it? Like I've lost 100 pounds, whatever, not just the thing, but what would it look like? What would it feel like? What would you be doing if you created that, if you were able to create that sustainable health now? Just kind of again, I'm going to give you just a minute, play the Jeopardy music. Think about what that would look and feel like, how your life would change, what would shift for you. What would you be able to do? What possibilities would that open up for you? Okay. So, I like to pepper some things in here just because I will tell you that personally, when we get feedback from our patients here at Medical Transformation Center that, um, that we've been able to help them make life-changing shifts regularly, it actually brings tears to my eyes because it's that feeling in your heart that that something that you have been able to help somebody with has really had a ripple effect in their lives. And many years ago, when MTC was new, I used to be the person that answered all of the phone calls, and and talk with everybody on the phone and just manage that side. And my favorite thing in the world, and to this day, even if they let me on the phones now, since there are other people in charge of them, and they're like, oh gosh, she's on the phones. But I love to hear the story of someone that's struggling and then really be down in the weeds, helping them and understand, and letting them know, hey, you know what? If you partner with us, because it takes work. I mean, working with Medical Transformation Center isn't, unfortunately, that magic wand, poof, I've waved it and you're good. It truly is a partnership. But when folks partner with us and we work together, it does create life-changing results. And so these, you guys can have an opportunity here to kind of read some of these, but just, great success, feel so much better, more energy, no knee pain, running again. The second one in black, my life has been changed. It had been 8 years, and this particular individual had been struggling so hard, with multiple autoimmune diseases. And, really our approach, and we're going to talk about this in detail a little bit more, is really to help somebody be truly well. And as a byproduct, weight falls off. And so that's really the genesis of any of the work that we do here at MTC. But you can see that here, in this larger testimony here that, she's changed, stopped her negative progression, lost 30 pounds. But her chronic pain and fatigue are manageable now. And that's huge. I mean, that's just huge. That's life changing. Okay. So the biggest obstacle to success, I will say it seems to be, especially now, there's a lot of noise out there in just the weight loss, get healthy world, is that kind of one size fits all solution. So one of the things that we're going to talk about here are a class of peptides, a class of medications called GLP-1s. And we have used GLP-1s in the practice for over 10, well, actually, really in their earlier forms for 20 years, but primarily, in these types of forms for 10. So we're not new to that ball game. And I know, a lot of folks are out there now talking about it. Of course, it's in the news. There are, online pop-up clinics everywhere that are supplying these types of semaglutide or tirzepatide or different things like that. And really truthfully, I mean, is it something that we use at Medical Transformation Center? Absolutely. I will tell you, we have used it, like I said, for over 10 years, and we consider ourselves well versed in the mechanisms of action and how to really mitigate any of these negative things that are happening with people. Again, for those who partner with us and work with us and follow the program. But this is some of the noise that's out there, on semaglutide, tirzepatide type medications. And then, I don't know if you guys have seen these things on social media or on the news or whatever, but there are things called Ozempic face, Ozempic butt. Basically, what the essence of this conversation is that, people are given these types of medications, they're just handed out. There's not any guidance or effort to, it's just basically eat less, drink a lot of caffeine if you don't have any energy. If you're constipated, use some laxatives, and good luck with that, right? Eat whatever you want, but you'll just eat less and you'll lose the weight. And that can happen using these types of meds. But then, this is the result. And then there's the conversation about, are there serious risks? Well, I will tell you that again, working with it, the 10 years with these particular types of meds, what we actually found, and the reason that we actually brought them into Medical Transformation Center many, many years ago, is that there were actually a lot of benefits for these types of medications in terms of optimal health, sustainable health, longevity, cutting the risk of certain, comorbidities. So, now finally the studies are getting put out into the media, but these are things that were known actually all along. Originally, semaglutide, let's just take that one for example, it was actually studied for cognition, for brain health. But there was just a larger market in the diabetes market. So that's the way that it was marketed by the drug companies. Again, we have used it for many years, really at a sub level of what you might use it for a diabetic dose or even a weight loss dose for people really, again, to help promote cognition, improve cardiac function, etc. So, then using these for the other benefits of helping somebody who does have a weight loss goal, those are things that, again, we have developed a program around, to really help people have true success. Common side effects, nausea, constipation, injection site pruritus, which basically means you get a little welt at the injection site, Ozempic face, butt, body, and post-use weight regain, which again can be a real issue for folks who have just subscribed to the thought that, oh, I take this shot, I don't change anything. It's that miracle drug, the magic wand again, and I have lost weight, look great in my clothes, poof, I'm done. Oh, darn, I've stopped taking the medicine, now I've rebounded. Okay, that is not sustainable. And unfortunately, that's what we see in a lot of these folks that have jumped on the bandwagon, I'd say in the last year or two, is that's the messaging and that's the guidance that they're getting. So again, back to the whole person solution and what we're about here at Medical Transformation Center. We have had, like I said, we've been using semaglutide, for example, for many years. We, nutrition and programs and targeted supplementation based on your body's deficiencies, things like that. That's been part of the MTC world for many years. And we have coached people and counseled people on, okay, if you want to lose weight, here are some ways to do that. But up until this point, really up until last year, it had really been less structured. It had just been, here are our recommendations. And for those who had the oomph and the drive, the really like type A, go getters, they grabbed onto that and had amazing success. But what we found, again, if you're looking at a bell curve, right, most people are going to be here. Most people are going to be up here and they're going to kind of stop and they're going to start and they're going to be frustrated and they're going to think, gosh, I just don't have the tools. I really just can't get it completely right. What can I do? And, that's been, frustrating for us because we want to help everybody we work with. So that's actually why we developed our Transform Weight program. The team got together. We actually got together. Let's see, it was December of 2022. So we all got together in December of 22 and we just brainstormed. We just threw it all down on a piece of paper and actually wrote it on the plane home from a conference. But basically, what we wanted to do was create a program that put everything in. Like if we could design, if you do this and you partner with us and lean in with us, there's got to be something like left field, really, really bad wrong for you not to have success. Or we're not doing our part, or you're not doing your part. Somewhere along the line, there's a disconnect because, this program has been designed to really touch point on all of the different factors that are barriers to people's success. So that's why we're really thrilled to have it. And it encompasses multiple factors. So, the 5 pillars of our Transform Weight program, it is that cellular medicine intervention. And so what I mean by that is, using peptides, small molecules, targeted nutrients, little hacks, I guess, to help to start to shift your metabolism and course correct what's been going on. And again, remember, the essence of everything we do here at MTC is to give your body a little prompt, what it needs to do what it knows how to do so that ultimately you have sustainable health. So that's that cellular medicine intervention. Nutrition, that's a huge piece. I mean, I've been studying nutrition for a very long time. I mean, gosh, even back in the 70s, I was studying nutrition when I was a teenager. So, it's kind of been part of my lexicon forever, but it's not forever. It's not everybody's, and that's okay. That's why they come to see us. So we have put together a very personalized nutrition plan, meal planning, prep, shopping support, um, so many multifaceted areas on the nutrition component. There's in order to really jumpstart and then help create habits. We give you training wheels to help create habits and support. And then lifestyle, the same thing, looking at your habits, your routine, sleep, stress, all of those types of things. Movement, that's another piece. I mean, some of us get discouraged because we think, oh gosh, I haven't exercised in years. How do I even start? Or everybody's doing CrossFit. I can't even do one push-up. What should I do? And so we have actually built that into this program, the movement with a personal trainer. And then again, that emotional component, that mental health component, because it is so real. And what comes first, the chicken or the egg? I'm not really sure. Is it, gut health and internal health, that you can't produce neurotransmitters, your emotional health, you can't navigate stress well, da da da, which comes first, the chicken or the egg? But in any event, we want to address both. We want to address both. And we have an emotional health component to that here in the Transform Weight program. So again, just a little peppered in here. These are past participants of our Transform Weight program. Thinking of the whole body differently, encompassed everything I needed: what to eat, how to eat, when to use it. 39 pounds, I love that. And that person was still working as of writing that. And then another person lost approximately 30 pounds. So those are exciting numbers. That's exciting. I think the most we had somebody lose maybe was 70 or 69, which was exciting. All right. So what are some of these other components that help people have success? Well, I mean, accountability, right? We all know if we're going to have to tell somebody or, check in weekly, for example, on, how it's going, what worked, what didn't work. Hey, can you help me understand this? Or even just that, gosh, I really kind of fell down this week. That's okay. Let's just get back up. It's that encouragement, right? So accountability doesn't have to be, oh, you're in trouble. Accountability really is that back and forth of great job, or oh, how can we troubleshoot this and help you get back on track? That type of accountability. And then expert guidance. I mean, we have a team here at MTC who has made it our mission to help people really understand health. Education, same, and a support team, a group of cheerleaders, not only amongst your peers that are in part of the group, but also the team here at Medical Transformation Center. So, what are some core components of sustainable health? Um, Metabolism. That's a big one. Hormone health. So metabolism, how you process nutrients, right? How your body works, how you use calories, that type of thing, how you burn fats and sugars. Hormone health, whether that's, because we're at a certain cycle in life, whether it's menopause or for men andropause, or, whether you've just had a baby or whether you're a teenager, just that hormones. Hormones play a big factor in health. Being a sugar burner as opposed to a fat burner, when people tell me, gosh, I could never fast, for example, I have to eat every hour or two because I get shaky. I get shaky. I can't think. That tells me that person's a sugar burner. And we need to correct that. You don't want to be a sugar burner. You want to be a fat burner. That makes you metabolically flexible. So kind of remember that term. You want to be metabolically flexible. All right. Gut permeability and health. Is your gut leaking? That's important. And then lower inflammation. That all kind of goes hand in glove there. When we're inflamed, inflammation equals disease. Just kind of think of it like that. Inflammation equals disease. So our goal is to mitigate these health issues and help you, really as we help people get healthier, as a byproduct, you lose weight. Because really what we know is if you're, and of course there are exceptions, right? We all know the really thin, sick person, right? So, again, thinking bell curve, okay? Think bell curve. But what we know is as people get healthier, as a byproduct, they don't carry around extra weight. And, I invite you to look at some of these things that are listed under that component, other benefits of whole person change. And I want you to start to connect that with what you wrote down on your list in terms of what, if we were able to help you create that sustainable health, what that future self of you looks like. What does that future self of you look like with better health? What are you doing? What are you able to experience? What are you able to enjoy? I mean, remember the person in the one of the earlier quotes, she could run again. That was huge for her. She could run again, right? I have folks tell me, now I can get on the floor and I can play with my grandchildren. Or I have the stamina to go out and do things in the evenings where I used to want to just come home from work and sleep. Those are all real things that happen for people that improve their lives when we're able to partner together and work towards better health. Okay. So nutrition, that's one of the core concepts, right? If you have been around Medical Transformation Center for a time or not, I mean, one big thing for us is Paleo-Mediterranean. And what is that? So this just kind of gives a little bit of a synopsis of that. Paleo-Mediterranean, eating as clean as possible, non-inflammatory foods, lean meats, more of the lighter meats and fishes, low glycemic index fruits, lots of veggies, lower carb veggies though, very little grain, no cow dairy. That's no gluten. That's part of a Paleo Mediterranean lifestyle. And later on, you'll see this, but we do actually have an ebook that we've put together that really, I think it's about 50 pages, which is great. It's got a ton of information on the Paleo-Mediterranean approach from the Medical Transformation Center perspective, as well as resources and tips and recipes and so forth. Okay. So other important aspects of this program, of the puzzle piece, right? So emotional health and relationships, lifestyle and exercise, hormones, genetic predispositions, food sensitivities and allergies. Those are all, again, different aspects of whole person health. This is a fun one. So this is one of our patients, and this particular person is a small person, as you can tell, 59 inches. That's not very tall. Okay, what is that? 4'11"? Yeah, 4'11", But, we really loved seeing this. And this was just from a case study that we did at a presentation. Actually, my husband and I did a presentation to teach other practitioners how to responsibly use medications like, semaglutide or tirzepatide, those GLP-1s that we talked about. We did a presentation to help them understand how to do that responsibly. And this was one of the case studies that we used. But I love it because it illustrates what's possible for folks and the other impacts to their health. So when you look at her weight, obviously, right? 124 and a half, which sounds tiny to me already, but this is a tiny person, but 94.8 there. And she hit that target after a year, but this is just, this is kind of a 2-year time difference. Her A1C, her hemoglobin A1C, which is that marker, right, for prediabetes, diabetes, went down 5.7 to 5.3. Her body fat percentage, unfortunately, at the beginning, we didn't have it, but there was a significant amount of, weight in body fat there. Her blood pressure, look at that, that top number going down. And then her resting heart rate. Those are health impacts. Not only is she thrilled with her energy and with the way she fits in her clothes and, being able to pull all the old stuff out from when she was younger and that kind of thing, but it's really how she's able to show up in life. And so, again, weight is one number, but it's an indicator, I will say, for other components of your life. So some right away takeaways. I have 10 of them. So, these are hopefully helpful for you as you go forward. But number one is going to be work towards stabilizing your blood sugar. So you remember how we talked about that? Oh, I can only go an hour or two max, or I have to have crackers or peanut butter crackers or something like that, or I get shaky. I can't function. That's not where you want to be. You want to be able to go sustained. You want your body to be metabolically flexible so that it can either be a sugar burner or a fat burner. If you're going to run, a 500-yard dash, that's a sugar burner right there. You need to dip into sugar, boom, glucose. All right, for those muscles. But if you want to be able to think and sustain and go the long haul and, again, optimize aging, then you want to really be able to go down into fat stores and be there, not always be dependent on the quick feed of a carb, basically, quick feed of a carb. All right. Try some time restricted eating. All right. Time restricted eating can look like, start simple, just go 12 hours without consuming any appreciable calories. So, for example, if you, ate dinner at 7, then you wouldn't have anything until 7 a.m. I will tell you that's the very minimum. It's really just kind of starting your training wheels piece because you really need to be going 14 or 16 hours to start to get down into some what we call autophagy or stimulation to your body to really start cleaning up cellular debris and trash cells and getting more metabolically flexible, but start with 12 hours there. And when I say appreciable calories, black coffee is fine in the morning, maybe to break a fast, but you wouldn't want to do coffee with creamer and sugar and things like that. Those are calories, even though it's not a meal. So you do want to be mindful of that. I'm talking about, really, 20 calories or less would break, or 20 calories or more would break your fast. Okay. So you want to think about that. That can be a strategy that you could start now. Cut your carbs. Standard American diet on carbs is 300 to 500 grams a day. That's a lot. We need just to sustain about 100 to 150 grams of carbs a day. If you want to lose weight, 50 to 75 grams is kind of that sweet spot. Supplements, a yeast elimination diet, eating a gram of protein for 1 pound of ideal body weight. That's another way that can really help you. We talked about time restricted, low intensity walking to burn carbs after a meal. That's a really nice time. That walk after a meal to how to help your food digest, there's a lot of wisdom to that. So even, if it's, maybe just start with a couple days a week, to where, well, after dinner is kind of hard right now because it's dark, but if you have a dog, especially, that'll be helpful to do that with. But, just try to put in that kind of just a walk. It does not have to be a run. A walk will actually burn more fat for you and carbs than, like a sprint will at that point, because you want to again dip down into your carbs and your fat, okay, after a meal. And that'll help your carbs. Actually, the meaning of number three is that it helps the carbs not go to fat after your meal. All right. Number four, muscle is the currency of aging. It truly, truly is, you guys. I mean, it's more than just, hey, do I have a great bicep? It's really about um, building our muscle groups, right? So that would be, lifting heavy things, doing weight bearing exercises, that's different from walking. That's actually, creating stress load with dumbbells, kettlebells, the medicine ball, something like that, squats with weights, because that build of your muscle, especially as we age, is going to help you maintain your metabolism. It's going to help keep you metabolically flexible. It's going to help your brain. It's going to help you burn fat and calories. It's going to keep you stable, right? Fall risk. Hello. I don't want to be a fall risk later on. It's going to help that core stability, your quads, your glutes. That's going to help you up and mobile, living that life that you've got in your head right now that you are envisioning of that when you have created sustainable health. And then mental and emotional health play a huge role. Craving hacks, ketone esters, we have those on our website, medicaltransformationcenter.com, under the shop button. They're a great little tool to help with carb cravings, hydration, eating good fats. Number seven, artificial sweeteners are not your friend. I think there's obviously, right, there's a whole industry built around that. Oh, have Coke Zero. Oh, use Splenda, use NutraSweet, use, Sweet and Low. I was a huge Sweet and Low drinker years ago. But actually, those artificial sweeteners actually work against you because they still stimulate your pancreas to spike out insulin. And that makes you hold on to fat, and it also makes you hungry. So stay away from those artificial sweeteners. Better ones to use that are 0 calorie would be something like pure stevia, which is a leaf. Monk fruit isn't bad, xylitol, but really honestly, curbing your sweet tooth, and we have a variety of tools to help you do that in the dietary method that we recommend. But ultimately, that's what you really want to do, is change your cravings. Gluten-free doesn't always equal healthy. Beware of that gluten-free trap. They sell gluten-free Oreos. They're not healthy. All right. Adequate sleep resets your internal clock, helps with metabolism and stress. 6 to 8 hours at least of sleep a night. You need that. Everything runs on your sleep. If you don't take that time to restore, to reset your hormones, that helps your growth hormones start to pump out again, which, is everything, right? Your growth hormone drives everything. Your brain, everything resets there when you sleep. Get your sleep. Hormones, menopause, andropause, cortisol from stress. We talked about mental health and stress earlier. Did you know when you're really running around stressed and you're in that fight or flight, that cortisol actually, even though maybe you think you're not eating, it is making you hold on to belly fat because it's a fight or flight. It doesn't matter whether there was really a bear that was after you, that you're trapped in a cave for a week and you can't eat, or if it's the stress of your grown kids or financial stresses or, whatever it is, or a spouse. Stress is stress to the body. It's non-discriminatory. But when your body senses that and your cortisol goes into overdrive, it's going to kind of slow down your metabolism, and it's going to pack the pounds right here on your belly because your body is really smart. It's in self-preservation and says, okay, if she is stuck in that cave and can't eat because the bear was chasing her, which is, it doesn't know why you were stressed, right? Then I got to make sure she's got enough reserve so she can live. So it's a survival mechanism. So again, starting to learn how to work through stress. Okay, Transform Weight, so many folks that came onto this webinar, they came because they wanted to learn about Transform Weight. And, again, I gave you a little bit of a preview earlier in this webinar about how it came to be, but we're so excited about it. We've run two cohorts now. And, the joy that has come from that, we have learned each time we have reworked it. Well, one of the things that the first cohort really appreciated was the community aspect. So we really beefed that up in the second one, and you'll hear from one of our participants here in a minute. But that was really valuable because again, remember we talked about this. It takes a village. It's not just me and me doing something. I wish, of course, my heart of hearts, right? I always think, oh, I have to do everything myself. I should be the one because it all depends on me. And we do have to be responsible. We do. We need to take ownership and be responsible. But the reality of it is we get more done together and it's more joyful when we have folks around us that are in our corner and support us and everybody works to their strengths. So this is actually one of our participants, and she had a really big weight loss goal. She was the mother of a bride. She had a wedding. She started last January. The wedding was in August, and her goal was to lose 50 pounds before the wedding so that she, quote, wasn't the fat mother of the bride. And she did it. And we were super excited to cheer her on. The wedding was in Colorado. It was beautiful. And we were happy to be a part of that for her. But let's see here. So just kind of going through, what I'm going to do is let's see if I can do this now, guys. Bear with me. I am going to see if this works. And I'm going to let you hear from Stephanie. Let's see. Wait a minute. Bear with me.
Transform weight because I was at a point
Can you guys see? Can you just nod your head? Can you say, okay, great, thanks.
I wasn't having any success in losing weight. My energy wasn't there. And I've always worked out, I've worked out for a while. And when I would go for walks and things and I would try to start to jog, my knees would be achy. I just didn't have the energy that I used to have when I was younger. And just something to help me along. And this was great because it also incorporated a better way to eat. The extra thing, like going to the grocery store and just kind of learning where to find things and what are the better brands to maybe stick with. Going out to eat was an extra thing, was an added bonus. The talks, and I did expect like the weigh-in to keep you held accountable, but being able to talk to the person that whoever's doing our weigh-in and kind of go over how you're feeling and just kind of keeping up with that was a benefit. And then of course the holiday baking, that was fun because just knowing what to eat, but when you're thinking about desserts and things, you think you're going to skip them, but learning that there are some desserts that you can make and still enjoy them, plus the extra recipes and everything is always nice. I've lost about 23 pounds so far, and have more energy. I'm able to jog. I actually did a 5K and I started off jogging in it. And I was just so happy. And I jogged for over a mile and then I would walk and then jog until I finished it. I felt like I accomplished something that I hadn't been able to do in a while. Oh, I feel great. I've got more energy. My knees aren't achy. Being able to wear the clothes that I had in the back of the closet, thinking I'll get to wear them again someday, and being able to wear those and be comfortable in them again. And it really wasn't about the weight number. It was more of how things fit and just the being comfortable in your own skin. And that was an added.
Okay, bear with me here. And I am going to pull back up. Hold on just a second. Okay. All right. I don't know. I always love seeing that. I mean, she ultimately lost 23 pounds, or excuse me, 28 pounds. And she had a goal. She and her husband were going on a big vacation. And actually, I think they're going next week. So she was in our fall cohort, and the Christmas baking she was talking about, that's part of what we do. So what I want to do is I want to go through here and just talk about the program a little bit, just so that we can go through the different things, the components and the why of that. So we're together a lot in this program. And like I said earlier, this program is really designed to go all in and really shake things up, partner with folks who are, ready to create change and a new lifestyle. Really, again, back to what you were picturing earlier, here is a pain point, and I'm going to suspect that the pain point, does revolve around health and being able to experience vitality and energy and clear thinking and mobility and so forth. And so that's really what this is developed for. It's for us to work together using our expertise as well as the experts that we brought in and the components that we have brought in based on our training and really work together to help create that so that when you're finished, you have tools to move forward in life so that it wasn't just one of those experiences where, oh, yeah, I lost that 30 pounds, but then I gained it again and an extra 4 or 5, which statistics show that's what happens to most folks. It is designed to address those reasons and how that happens. So initial kickoff class, we do that together with several of us here with talks. Also, as part of that is an IV infusion. We do that in the beginning when we get you started and we run some basic labs. We want to do that IV infusion to kind of jumpstart you. It's designed to give you some energy to aid in fat burning. As a bonus, you get this really boost in cognition, which anytime I can do something for my brain, I'm all about it. And then there is a set of customized peptide therapies for you included in this program to help you along the way. And we decide which one is going to be best for you based on your situation and your history, what's worked, what hasn't worked for you before. It's very tailored. So 90-day supply, again, of personally tailored supplementation as well to help with your metabolism, like we talked to, digestion and detoxing, because that is a huge component of this. A lot of the time, the reason people try and fail or backslide is because toxins are stored in fat. Okay. And when we do a weight loss program, we shrink our fat cells and the contents of those fat cells go out into our system. And if we aren't able to throw those off and get rid of them, then actually, again, remember, our body's really smart. As a defense mechanism, our body recognizes, ooh, toxins, got to do something with that or I'm going to get sicker. And it wraps the fat cell around that toxin again. So that's why detoxing is extraordinarily important. And we do that responsibly in our program. Medically supported fast. We do have a 30-day more structured component in the beginning. So there's a 5-day structure and then another 30 days. So that first 35 days of the program is very structured and it's designed to give you training wheels as we then move into the other 2 months. This is, again, a 90-day program. Monthly group meetings. Oh, excuse me, wait a minute. Weekly sessions with a personal trainer. She is amazing. She has been training people for over 40 years. So that tells you she's seasoned, right? It tells you that she can do CrossFit with the best of them, but she also creates programs for our patients who haven't seen the gym in years, or who maybe are in a different spot in life or have some rehab needs. She's an incredible person to work with, and she comes to you or you go to her house so that, or she can meet you at the gym. So they are weekly included in your program. Weekly weigh-in and coaching. You come in to see us every week, and that's that coaching and that accountability. Our clinical team, our nurses are working with you there to talk about what's worked, what hasn't worked, answer any questions, cheer you on, kick you in the butt if you need it, but really just to help keep that going. And then we have monthly group meetings that are educational. And then we also have 3 targeted group sessions with an emotional eating coach and therapist who's focusing on, like we talked about, stress, boundaries, other types of education. Some folks, food is a coping mechanism for. And that's okay. We just want to figure out how to navigate through that so that it doesn't keep holding you back. All right. We do have some flexibility if you have to be out of town. The workbook is incredible. I mean, it's like, I don't know, it's like 200 or 300 pages, the workbook is. So there's a workbook that comes with this, and then resources, accountability partner. Additionally, we go to the grocery. Okay, so we do small groups because that's another piece. It's like, okay, yeah, I've done this, structured program and da da da, but how do I do this at home all the time with a family or alone? I'm just feeding myself. I don't want to cook all these big meals. We go to the grocery together in small groups to learn how to shop, what supports our health, how to make this a lifestyle shift, because that's really what it needs to be. And then the other group outing, walks are fun because you walk and talk, right? We're getting some exercise, we're talking, we're brainstorming, we're supporting each other. We go out to dinner because that's important. Life is not, I'm going to sit in my room and only eat this little lettuce that I'm supposed to eat and chicken or whatever. It's about living and being with people and being able to coexist together, but yet support our health. And that's where so many of us get derailed. Well, I was with the group and we went to Taco Bell. What is that? How do I navigate that? Now, I'm not going to take you to Taco Bell, but we are, we'll take a poll and we'll go to some people's like favorite places and we'll figure out how to navigate the restaurant within the parameters. Okay. So those are some of the examples of some of the group things that we do together, because remember, it's all about building habits. It's not a one and done. We have some books that are part of the program, the emotional eating book, the Primal Blueprint, which is just a seminal book for us. It was one of the first ones we read, 13 years ago as we were making our own lifestyle shifts. Discounts, we do have some discounts that are offered in the program to our participants on our Regenevita brand and other products sold in our office and our online store. Additionally, consultation with Margie Odom, who is the therapist, to see if she has another program that's a little more intense and it's an online 12-week program. And if that's a good fit for you, she has some special pricing for our participants that you can do a deeper dive into the emotional eating component. Also, we have some amazing body sculpting devices. Remember the Ozempic butt and the Ozempic face? So, the way, of course, that you get around that is to get a lot of protein by doing your exercises and that kind of thing. But sometimes you are going to want a little bit of remodeling in a healthy way. And so we have an amazing suite of devices here in the office that we call regenerative aesthetics that are, healthy, promote your cells to remodel. And we offer some great discounts to our Transform Weight patients on that. And then we also have a post-program maintenance membership that includes some of these other supports. Say maybe at the 90 days, you're not quite ready to cut the cord. You can do kind of a step down on that. Okay. So we're just about done here on our time, and I want to allow for questions, but I'll just put this up here really quick. These are a couple of few other comments from some of our other Transform Weight participants. Couple really making changes in their lives, um, uh, chronic problems, and then stepping stools, which were again just consistent. So what are the next steps? Okay, so we have a few different things here. I mean, I've given some tips that you can take away today and implement in your life. We do offer here at Medical Transformation Center a class every week called Transform Lifestyle. And it's a little bit more of a deeper dive into metabolic health, gut health, and so forth. I do that class. I teach that one. I do it twice a month live and twice a month via Zoom. And we have the schedule here, I think, first and third Tuesday evening of the month at Zoom at 6 o'clock. Second and fourth Thursday of the month, it's live at 1 o'clock. So I do actually have a class today here in the office at 1 o'clock. The other thing is this Paleo Mediterranean Lifestyle Guide, and that's what I was referencing earlier. That is on our website. Typically, we sell that for $20, but for participants in the webinar, I have a special code that I'll email you out afterwards that you can get that at 50% off. So that's kind of exciting. And then there's the Transform Weight program, which we talked about here. And that Transform Weight program is so very powerful. And again, for people who are ready to take on this bear and create that lifestyle and that state of being and health that they imagine, we offer that bridge. We offer that bridge with Transform Weight. And, yes, we do a lot of some of those components with our patients that come to see us every day as medical patients here. The Transform Weight program is offered to both regular medical transformation center patients, as well as people who are not patients with us here. You don't have to be a patient at MTC to participate in Transform Weight. It's designed as a standalone. And again, it is it's truly life-changing from what we've seen. And it's I will tell you, what is it? It's where you pour something in to where you think, okay, I want to help as much as I can, and this is everything that I can, put in here to create that help. So it's super exciting in that regard. For participants that are in this webinar, I will tell you that I have a little Benny for that. I'm going to stop sharing my screen here for just a second. And maybe I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Bear with me here. Okay. So for participants in the webinar that do want to participate in Transform Weight, actually, I have a little like early bird bonus special that if you sign up this week, and you can sign up, really what I would recommend is you sign up, give us a call at the office or let me know in the chat that you want me to call you and we'll get you signed up. The cost of the program for 3 months is $44.90. And that includes all of the items that you saw there. So the meal plan, the foods, the fasting program, the peptides, the supplements, the personal training sessions, all of that. So it is extraordinarily comprehensive. And as well as the outings, my goodness, we get to go out together, which is fun. But as a little bonus, if you want to do that, remember when I talked about the M-Suite devices, the body sculpting in particular. So we have one body sculpting device called M-Sculpt Neo. And each session is, we usually sell them in sessions of 6. And remember, our Transform Weight patients get a discount on that. But a session of 6, and what it does is it actually kills, this is unusual, kills visceral fat and sub-Q fat by heating it to 42 degrees centigrade, which at which point the cell wall pops. So it pops and it kills it. And then it also stimulates the muscle to transform. So it's really quite an incredible device, and we can talk more about it offline. But that particular so it's body sculpting. So particularly for the abs is what we're talking about here. So for the folks that sign up by the end of this week on the webinar, we're offering one free session of that, and it's a 30-minute session. So, I mean, you can really get that experience of feeling your abs, your core stability improve, some fat burning happen to kind of shake up and start the program. And that actually each session is valued at $1,000. So we will, add that in for anybody who does decide they want to do a Transform Weight with us this week as an early bird, just kind of a little Benny there. So anyway, I am going to stop the recording and then I can answer any questions that anybody has. Bear with me here.